What if I told you that every educational expert, every parenting guru, and every school system has been lying to you about how children actually learn? What if the secret to raising brilliant, independent, confident children was discovered over 2,000 years ago and then deliberately buried? And what if this ancient wisdom could completely transform your child's future in ways that would make helicopter parenting look not just outdated, but actually harmful? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you see your role as a parent forever. The devastating modern reality. Right now, as you're watching this video, millions of well-meaning parents are unknowingly destroying their children's natural genius. They're following advice that sounds logical, feels responsible, and is completely wrong. They're stuffing their kids with information like they're filling up a gas tank. Math facts, historical dates, vocabulary words, test prep, tutoring sessions, educational apps. More. But here's what's really happening. They're creating anxious, dependent, creativity-starved children who can regurgitate information but can't think for themselves. The familiar struggle. Does this sound familiar? Your child can tell you the capital of every state, but falls apart when faced with a problem they haven't seen before. They can solve complex equations, but can't figure out why they should care about math. They memorize everything for the test and forget it all the next week. You're not alone, and it's not your fault. You've been following a fundamentally flawed model of how the human mind works. Introducing Plutarch's wisdom. Over 2,000 years ago, a Greek philosopher named Plutarch made an observation so profound, so revolutionary, that it challenges everything our modern educational system believes. He said, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." Think about that for a moment. Not a vessel to be filled, a fire to be kindled. This isn't just poetic language. This is a complete paradigm shift that reveals the hidden truth about how learning really works. The vessel versus fire metaphor. When you pour water into a vessel, what happens? The vessel becomes heavy, passive, dependent on you to keep filling it. When the water runs out, the vessel is empty again. But when you kindle a fire, what happens? The fire becomes self-sustaining. It seeks out its own fuel. It grows stronger and brighter on its own. It creates warmth and light that spreads to others. Which one sounds like the kind of mind you want your child to have? The helicopter parent trap. But somewhere along the way, we forgot Plutarch's wisdom. We became obsessed with filling vessels instead of kindling fires. We became helicopter parents, hovering, controlling, micromanaging every aspect of our children's learning. We schedule their time, choose their activities, solve their problems, and spoon-feed them information. And we call this good parenting. The real damage. But what's really happening? We're teaching our children that learning is something that happens to them, not something they do for themselves. We're creating dependency instead of independence. We're suffocating the very fire we should be kindling. The helicopter parent says, "Let me tell you what you need to know." The kindling parent asks, "What do you want to understand?" The helicopter parent says, "Here's the answer." The kindling parent asks, "What questions do you have?" Introducing the Kindling Method. So what is the Kindling Method? It's Plutarch's ancient wisdom applied to modern parenting, the art of igniting your child's natural curiosity instead of overwhelming them with information. Here's how it works. Step 1. Stop being a filler. Start being a spark. Instead of cramming facts into your child's head, start asking questions that ignite their curiosity. Instead of saying the Revolutionary War started in 1775, try asking, why do you think people would risk everything to fight against the most powerful empire in the world? Step 2. Feed questions, not answers. When your child asks, why is the sky blue? Resist the urge to launch into a lecture about light wavelengths. Instead, ask back, what do you think might cause that? Let them theorize, let them wonder, let them develop their thinking muscles. The kindling parent knows that a good question is worth 1,000 answers. Step 3. Create discovery moments. Instead of telling your child that plants need water to grow, let them discover it. Give them 2 plants. Water one, don't water the other. Let them observe. Let them figure it out. Let them experience the joy of discovery. When children discover something for themselves, it doesn't just enter their mind, it becomes part of them forever. Step 4. The power of I don't know. This might be the most revolutionary part of the Kindling Method. When your child asks you something you don't know, don't panic. Don't make something up. Don't rush to Google. Say these magic words. I don't know. Let's find out together. You've just modeled something incredibly powerful. That learning never stops. That curiosity is valuable. And that not knowing something is the beginning of an adventure, not a failure. The information overload crisis. But why does this matter so much? Why is the vessel-filling approach so dangerous? Because we're living in the age of information overload. Your child has access to more information in their pocket than the greatest scholars in history had in entire libraries. The ability to memorize facts is becoming worthless. What matters now is the ability to ask good questions, think critically, solve novel problems, and most importantly, to never stop learning. The confidence revolution. Here's something amazing that happens when you switch from filling to kindling. Your child becomes confident. Think about it. When you constantly fill your child with information, you're sending a subtle message. You don't know enough. You need me to tell you things. You can't figure this out on your own. But when you kindle their curiosity and let them discover things for themselves, you're sending a completely different message. You're capable. You can think. You can figure things out. I trust your mind. The independence factor. Helicopter parents often complain that their teenagers are lazy, unmotivated and dependent. But is this really surprising? When you spend 18 years being your child's external brain, remembering their assignments, solving their problems, making their decisions, why would you expect them to suddenly develop an internal drive? The Kindling Method creates the opposite. Children who are naturally motivated because learning feels like play, not work. Children who solve their own problems because they've been practicing their whole lives. The creativity connection. Here's something else the ancients understood that we've forgotten. Creativity and curiosity are connected. When you stuff a child's mind with predetermined answers, you leave no room for original thinking. When you kindle their curiosity and let them explore, you're nurturing the very foundation of creativity. The most innovative minds in history, Einstein, Da Vinci, Tesla, they weren't just smart, they were curious. They asked questions nobody else was asking. They saw possibilities nobody else could see. The relationship transformation. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about the Kindling Method is what it does to your relationship with your child. Instead of being the taskmaster who assigns work and checks for completion, you become the co-adventurer who explores the world together. Instead of being the authority who has all the answers, you become the guide who asks great questions. Your child stops seeing you as someone who makes them learn and starts seeing you as someone who helps them discover. The long-term vision. Imagine your child at 25. Do you want them to be someone who waits for instructions or someone who sees opportunities? Someone who memorizes what others think or someone who develops their own insights? Someone who depends on external motivation or someone whose fire burns bright from within? The Kindling Method isn't just about better grades or test scores. It's about raising human beings who will thrive in an uncertain world because they know how to learn, how to think, and how to adapt. The ancient secret revealed. For over 2 millennia, Plutarch's wisdom has been sitting there, waiting for parents to rediscover it. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. This isn't just philosophy, it's practical wisdom that can transform your family starting today. Stop trying to fill your child's mind with everything you think they need to know. Start kindling their curiosity so they'll want to learn everything they need to know. The transformation. Imperative. Stop being a helicopter parent who hovers and controls. Start being a kindling parent who sparks and inspires. Stop creating dependent vessels. Start nurturing independent fires. The ancient Greeks knew something we forgot. The best education doesn't happen to a child. It happens within a child when their natural curiosity is awakened and nurtured. The inner fire recognition. Your child already has everything they need to become a brilliant, confident, independent learner. They don't need you to fill them up with information. They need you to help them discover the fire that's already burning inside them. The question isn't whether your child can learn. The question is, will you kindle their fire or will you drown it with information? The choice before us. The ancients have given us the answer. The Kindling Method is waiting for you to embrace it. Your child's future and your relationship with them will never be the same. The discovery within. Plutarch understood what modern educators have forgotten. True learning happens from within, not from without. When we constantly feed children answers, we rob them of the joy of discovery. This ancient wisdom transforms how we see our role as parents. We become facilitators of wonder, not dispensers of facts. Every child possesses an innate curiosity that, when properly nurtured, becomes an unstoppable force for lifelong learning. The parent's realization. Think about the moments when your child's eyes light up with understanding. That spark didn't come from you filling their mind. It came from you creating space for their natural intelligence to emerge. The Kindling Method teaches us to step back, ask better questions, and trust in our children's incredible capacity for self-directed learning and growth. The final transformation. When you embrace this ancient approach, you'll watch your child transform from a passive receiver of information into an active seeker of knowledge and truth. The Kindling Method doesn't just change how children learn, it revolutionizes the entire parent-child relationship, creating deeper connection and mutual respect. Your journey as a fire-starting parent begins today. The wisdom of the ancients is calling you to unlock your child's limitless potential.